My dad's family's Gulgatha. You probably know where that is in South Australia, Gulgatha mob. I grew up in northern New South Wales. To an extreme degree, I've been shot at by the police in New South Wales. I've been run off the road by the police in New South Wales. All sorts of things, but fortunately I was born with fairly thick skin. The whole purpose of the native title class was to take the land off the tribe. By the government offering native title and us accepting native title, we're allowing them to say that they're complying with Resolution 2625/25. Now, what native title is native title is title issued by the Crown over land that has been colonised. In other words, they own the land. Now, in order to get native title, you have to admit that you're a traditional owner, and you make a claim as a traditional owner. The term traditional comes from the Latin word traditio. The four letters at the beginning of the word are important. Trade. A traditional owner is someone who has traded their land to someone else. So by admitting that you're a traditional owner, you're admitting that you've given your land to someone else, namely the Crown. Okay? Now, that's the thin edge of the wedge of native title. Every word they use has got a particular meaning. It's like the word indigenous. IN means not, like flammable and inflammable. Yeah, sane and insane. Yeah, same. The DI in indigenous means of, like DI or DE.
Not of.
So what you've got is not of or not of a race. Now, if you're not of a particular race and you can't claim your national status, the Crown can claim you as part of their population. Okay? Now, if you claim to be Aboriginal, we know that normal means that you're normal, whatever normal is. That's the difference. But we know that abnormal is the opposite to that.
What is it?
Same as we know that moral and immoral, legal, illegal, original and aboriginal. So if you walk into court and call yourself an Aboriginal, you're telling the court that you are not part of the original tribe. Now, because they can't use their laws against the original people, if you call yourself Aboriginal, they can then use their laws against you because you're not part of the original tribe that are not subject to their law.
That's right.
Now, when they brought their Christianity here, we used to walk along our song lines and sing our law and practice our law and do our song, dance and ceremonies. So what they did was they stopped us doing our song, dance and ceremony and practicing our law, and they got us to sing the hymns out of their law book, the Bible, and sing their law into our land. Right? It's been a con from day one. Every part of everything they've done has been a con to get us to accept them. Yes.
Mark?
I was told by one of the judges that as an Aboriginal man I had no rights under the Constitution. The problem they had was that I was suing ATSIC at the time, and in order to quiet me down they had to remove any rights I had. But the problem was, by telling me I had no rights under the Constitution, they were also telling me that I had no obligations. Because if the Constitution doesn't protect me, it certainly can't be of any detriment to me. So I started looking. It was just that he could not believe what we were uncovering. He just thought it was entirely impossible that the picture that we were painting in relation to sovereignty was in fact correct. I've been harassed as a result of the stuff that I've been uncovering. The story that we've got goes back a fair way. I worked on the principle in preparing the case that we're about to take to England. I worked on the principle that if I walk into a fight with a stick and I kill someone, that's murder. But if I walk into the fight and I take their stick off them and I beat them with it, it's self-defence. So what I did was, rather than try and prove that my family's law was still alive in this country, which was very difficult because that would mean for me to take song, dance and ceremony into their court to demonstrate the existence of our law, I set about to prove that their law did not exist. And I was actually surprised at how easy it was. In 1701, the United Kingdom Parliament created an act called the Act of Settlement. That act dictates the fact that the monarch of the Parliament of the United Kingdom is not part of a royal family, but is in fact a public servant. She's employed under the Coronation Oath Act, and she's employed under the Act of Settlement 1701, UK. That act says that she's not allowed to take the sovereignty of that Parliament outside of England, Scotland or Ireland without the consent of the Parliament. Now, the consent to bring sovereignty here was never granted and has never been granted by the Parliament of the United Kingdom, much to the contrary of what a lot of the courts in this country are saying. Between 1836 and 1835 and 1840, there was a commission of inquiry in the House of Commons in London. And that commission of inquiry dealt with the issue of Aboriginal people wherever British settlements were made. And the report from that commission clearly states that the Crown knew at that point in time that the tribal people still held sovereignty and dominion over their lands and themselves, and that the Crown had no interest in the land.